So Wuthering Waves has a big issue at the moment, and that's to do with the overall revenue. If you don't know, just the other day the Gacha Revenue Chart came out, and it's pretty much the monthly PvP. It's a big thing that happens in the Gacha community where a lot of creators and also just a lot of players go at each other for about a day or two, kind of clowning on each other for each other's revenue, which I just want to start the video off just by saying that's the most stupid thing possible. And also, I know that I've made quite a lot of videos on the revenue recently, but I think this will be my last one, as I am talking about the revenue chart itself and what could actually be wrong with it. Because there's actually been a situation going on with the revenue chart which not a lot of people have noticed, and it kind of gets annoying for a lot of games, including Wuthering Waves. So in this video, we're going to be going through some of the problems with the Gacha revenue chart, talking about how reliable it actually is, and actually going into detail about the situation that happened that caused Wuthering Waves to appear much worse off, and also a lot of other Gacha games, which obviously is terrible for the community. Now, before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and also go to my Twitch where I'm actually going to be streaming a lot more. We've done a couple of streams, I've done some, Wuthering Waves streams, which I definitely think you guys would enjoy, so definitely go down to the link down below, join my stream. Yeah, I'll see you guys whenever I go live. But let's get back into the video. So as I said, the Gacha revenue chart is a monthly PvP where a lot of people go at each other for different games, and obviously that's to be expected. A lot of people have a very superiority kind of complex whenever it comes to their favorite game. They think, oh, just because my favorite game Honkai Star is making 67 million, that must mean it's better, right? Well, no. Obviously this is down to a lot of the character banners and what kind of characters come out, and just how interesting the game is overall at that time. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good game. Obviously we still got Genshin Impact after a lot of the terrible quality of life updates making 46 million, which again just goes to prove how big the game is and how popular the characters are, but it doesn't necessarily mean the game is good, and it also doesn't give you the right to go attack other people just because their revenue is lower. We can see here in the revenue chart, Wuthering Waves made 6.75 million, but it didn't. And that's the big problem that we're getting with the revenue chart at the moment. This is a screenshot of the revenue chart from whenever it first came out, literally on the first day, as is uploaded by, I'm pretty sure, the creator of the Gacha revenue chart. And you can see here it says 6.75 million. But if we go over to this website, and this is the official website for the Gacha revenue chart, it's 10.5 million now. And a lot of people were very confused at why this actually changed and why there was such a drastic, change in the revenue in the first place. And well, obviously you've seen a lot of people doom posting and kind of being all negative about Wuthering Waves since this kind of revenue chart dropped, because people have seen this as a 6.75 million, which obviously doesn't look good for Wuthering Waves. But the thing is, that wasn't even the correct revenue, and it means that a lot of these content creators, a lot of these people that have been talking about this revenue, have been talking about the wrong revenue in the first place, and it just kind of screws over everyone. Meaning that anyone that's saying Wuthering Waves is doing bad because it's making 6.75 million may be wrong, and even they might agree that they are wrong, because it's making 10.5 million now, which I think is actually a pretty decent number for, such a low and underperforming patch. Like, we got Azulane here who had a massive event that went on with some really cool characters, and they managed to make just a little bit more than Wuthering Waves on one of their most fulfilling patches, whereas Wuthering Waves on one of their lower patches made 10.5 million, which again I think is still pretty decent. But the problem is, a lot of content creators and a lot of people were very quick to go into this and just kind of clown on Wuthering Waves when, they didn't actually look at the fine print. And I definitely think that this is something that a lot of creators and people just need to be more aware of whenever it comes to future Gacha revenue charts, because a lot of people have been posting recently saying that don't trust this, it's not trustworthy, or something like that, and people were saying, not to listen to the Gacha revenue chart, which again, you can do if you like. Obviously, I think that, arguing over what billion-dollar companies make is the most stupidest thing possible. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as the game is still running and the game is still making a decent amount of money. But it is still interesting to a lot of people because, it's just interesting to see how much a company makes off of a game. And that's always going to be the case, and it's never going to change no matter how much you don't like it. People are going to be interested in this. And as stupid as it sounds, I know. But if we go into the fine print, whenever looking at the frequently asked questions, there are two major points which I think needs to be kind of addressed and kind of exposed to people so that they know that this Gacha revenue chart may not be as reliable as you first thought. As the first FAQ thing I'm going to go over was, why did the revenue actually change in the first place? Well, they've actually got an FAQ question for this saying, I've noticed that the revenue from previous month's Reddit post is different to the one on the website. Why is that? They say Reddit posts get posted on the first of the month when prices are not stabilized yet. They're usually stabilized by the end of the second week of the month. I cannot replace images on Reddit, but the website gets updated 4 to 5 times a month. So again, that's pretty fair. I'd say if they wanted to update the revenue, to make it as accurate as possible over time, I think that's totally okay, and I think the Gacha revenue chart has every right to do that. But I think a lot of content creators and a lot of people are going into this way too quickly, and just kind of taking it at face value when we still got the entire month for it to stabilize. And I think that people just need to calm down a little bit whenever it comes to this revenue and kind of treat it as a little bit of fun rather than taking it so seriously, rather than going so gung-ho about, this revenue's failing, this revenue's doing amazing. Because again, it's not even the most accurate revenue, and a lot of people kind of need to make it clear whenever that happens. Because again, even Gacha Revenue, kind of admit that their prices aren't stabilized at the time, and it's fine. Like, I totally get it. But the thing is, maybe they should kind of, change around whenever they upload it. Because although it's a memorable time to upload it on the first of the month every single month, if they upload it maybe 2 weeks later every single, month, which would still be every month, I think the data would be much more stabilized and we can get a better look at the revenue and, what it actually is, rather than fighting over some revenue which might not even be real. There's also another point which a lot of people have also brought up as well, which is Sensor Tower only reports iOS Chinese revenue. Where did you get the Android data from? Now, I think this is a big problem whenever it comes to calculating revenue and being accurate, because they say, I've done some research and most people that make revenue posts videos multiply iOS revenue by 1.5 to 2.5 to get Android revenue. Currently, I'm using a 1.75 multiplier as default, but you can adjust it yourself on the website. Now, it's great having a multiplier that you can change around, but the thing is, how is that accurate to Android data? There is so many different anomalies, so many different things that happen that go on, in the gacha space, which could change around the revenue as much as possible. And I don't think that adding a multiplier by 1.75 or, 1.5 is enough. I think that's just kind of, very, guessy. It doesn't really equate to the true revenue of what Android is making. Now, maybe Android is such a small part of the revenue, but it's still kind of questionable to see that this kind of, guesswork is being done in something that's supposed to be, they claim is quite factual whenever it isn't. And that's also why a lot of people don't need to take this as seriously as they think they should. Because, yeah, it's being guessed. Half of it is being guessed. And again, this is only for the Chinese revenue. So again, if you're looking at global, I think that should be all alright. And they actually have some data for that. But again, they get a lot of that information from Sensor Tower, which is a pretty trustworthy website whenever it comes to data. So again, I'd say like a lot of their kind of, intentions are good. And I don't think they're trying to, make it a bad thing. I think a lot of people in the community have taken it way too seriously at this point, where it's become like an event to actually look through this revenue chart and stuff like that. And again, I'm guilty of doing that, but I think a lot of people are taking it way too seriously. And although Sensor Tower may be like quite accurate, they also do mess up sometimes. And again, we've got this stuff with the Android revenue being used as a multiplier, and yeah, and the stuff being stabilized. So again, I just wanted to talk about this really quickly. It is great that Wuthering Waves is now making 10.5 million, and that we can see the true revenue behind this, because again, 10.5 million, I think is actually a pretty decent number for a lower patch. So hopefully we see Wuthering Waves go up even more, and that gives me more confidence that they can actually go up even higher, maybe into the 20s, whenever a big character comes out like Camellia, and maybe even the Shorekeeper, the end of that banner. I don't know how much we're going to see from that. But again, it is very exciting to see that Wuthering Waves is actually doing better than we first thought. And also some of these other games. I don't know what other games actually changed. Obviously, I'm a more Wuthering Waves centric YouTuber or, content creator or whatever. So I'm going to be paying attention to that more, but I'm sure there was a couple more that changed and like slightly. I'm pretty sure Zealous Zone Zero maybe had a little bit of a boost there. I think going up by like 1 million or something like that. But again, I think it's very, very small changes, and it is weird how Wuthering Waves had such a drastic one, because again, that is a lot of money to be missing out on, 4 million. So again, we're going to have to keep an eye on this. I'll definitely, correct a lot of stuff in future Gacha Revenue Charts if people get things wrong. Because again, there's a lot of videos out now because people, obviously, this is totally fine from the content creator's perspective. I would do this if I had the, the amount of effort to do this. People upload a video literally, an hour once it's been out or whatever, and then they get the wrong revenue, which again, I definitely think people should wait off, but, you can't really do that whenever people are fighting over who can get there first. But overall, I think that's a pretty crazy thing. I just wanted to bring to light a lot of the stuff that was in the frequently asked questions of the Gacha Revenue Chart, so that people would stop, kind of taking this so seriously and, kind of fighting over all of this stuff, because people have fallen out over this before, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's revenue. It's $1 billion company's revenue. Who the hell cares? Like, honestly, just if you're fighting over that, you might need to, take a break and just go step outside for a bit. That's about all I got for this video. If you did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that, Wuthering Waves is doing pretty good now? Or do you think that 10.5 million still isn't enough for what people were thinking? And, maybe it could be improved in the next month. But that's about all I got. As I said, go follow my Twitch as well, where I'll be doing a lot of live streams. I definitely recommend going to go check it out. There's a ton of fun stuff we do over there. We do a lot of gaming stuff, Wuthering Waves, Zealous Zone Zero, whatever. And then we also do some reacting too. So again, we'll be making more similar videos like this on stream. So I definitely recommend you guys go check it out. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, see ya.